Hello once again, my dear listeners. My name is Koinsala Abajisibe, and welcome to another episode where we talk about agricultural issues and solutions, practical solutions that can help our farmers, especially farmers in African countries, to improve their farming experience. I am a trained agricultural economist, extension agent, and change communicator, whereby I bring about research and innovation experiences that can help farmers to scale up their production, their agricultural production. So, welcome once again. So, today we are going to be talking about how small scale tomato farmers in Africa can scale up production and maximize profits. The reason why we are targeting tomato farmers for now is because the tomato is a major agricultural produce in Africa, which is one of the major produce that the farmers produce and needs intervention. So, in today's program, what you should expect is practical strategies for increasing yield, reducing costs, and accessing better markets. Now, let's dive in. What are the biggest challenges small scale farmers face when trying to scale up their production? The first is high input costs. What are the major inputs that farmers use in tomato production? The first is seed, fertilizers, and irrigation. If this input, when they come at a high rate, it tends to affect the overall production, thereby leaving farmers leaving farmers not able to utilize or maximize profits because the inputs they put in the production is on a high side. Therefore, ability to get profit is difficult. The second reason is poor access to financing and credit. Poor access to financing and credit. As we know that finances form a major challenge and barrier to farmers in their production, poor access to it tends to form a big challenge to scale up their production. Another reason is limited storage and poor harvest losses, post-harvest losses, sorry. Yes, a lot of farmers lose a lot of profit and yield due to poor storage facilities, and post-harvest losses, because they don't have enough facilities to store their produce. Another one is unstable market prices and middlemen exploitation. The harm that middlemen do in exploiting farmers, smallholder farmers or rural farmers or many producers is a whole lot, and this tends to affect agricultural production and in the long run affect the sustainable development goals of access to food security. Then the last reason I have here is climate change impact, which include droughts and erratic rainfall. Because of climate change, it's affecting farmers' ability to scale up their production and um, provide for the farmers and provide for the population in population demand, which is why we need to look into this. Now, what are the practical steps that farmers can take to increase their tomato yield and production scale? Number one is use high yield drought resistant tomato varieties. We have agricultural biotechnologists are working on how to improve seeds and how to improve seed variety, and they've done a whole lot of improvement. So now it remains to farmers to make use of these improved varieties to to make use of these improved seed varieties. Therefore, it can help them to scale up their production because they know that they are going to get maximum yield from this production. For example, we have drought resistant seeds, we have some certain pests that affect tomatoes, we have them that are resistant to pest infection. We have a lot of seeds that so the best thing is for farmers to make use of these high yield drought resistant and pest resistant seeds that can help scale up their production. Also, farmers should also implement smart irrigation. Smart irrigation, for example, we talked about this irrigation in our last episode. You can check it on how to set up smart irrigation. You can check it up. And farmers utilizing this smart irrigation can help scale up their production because it's going to help improve their production. So the next one is improve soil health with organic compost and crop rotation. Farmers can scale up their production by making use and by improving their soil health. Most farmers don't even know how to test for their soil, not to talk of on how to know what is remaining, the nutrient that's remaining or that is lacking in their soil. So farmers should improve their soil health, test for their soil health. And how can you test for your soil health? We talked about that in our last episode. So you can check it and to learn how to test for your soil health and how to improve it. How can you improve it? By making use of organic compost and using crop rotation. When we make use of organic compost, it can help our farmers to scale up their production and improve their soil health. So another one is adopt low-cost greenhouses for year-round production. Normally, without greenhouses, farmers are limited to the time they can produce tomatoes. But with low-cost greenhouses, farmers are able to produce year in, year out, and also maximize profits with this. So farmers can adopt low-cost greenhouses to improve their yield because they're able to produce year in, year out, and only limited to what they can produce. And the last one is work in cooperative to access bulk inputs at lower prices. According to research, farmers that work in cooperative tend to tend to access better opportunities than working alone. So when farmers work in numbers, it tends to influence their production and access to credit and other opportunities that can help scale up their production. So farmers should ensure to join one or two cooperatives in their community to improve and scale up their production. Now, when we talk about high input costs, a lot of farmers complain about this. So now, how can farmers scale up their production affordably? How can they scale up their production? Not just overall production now, about input. How can they scale up their input and production affordably? Like we said, using of organic fertilizers. Instead of spending money on inorganic fertilizers or commercial fertilizers. It is better for farmers to make use of organic fertilizers like compost to reduce costs. This will help them to reduce their input costs drastically. This will help them to increase their production costs drastically. So when farmers make use of organic fertilizers, like from compost, and farmers can learn how to do compost maybe by trying to put together old stocks or used product. They can make use of compost like that, and it's going to help their production. So farmers can make use of organic fertilizers to reduce costs. Another one is set up community banks. Set up community banks. When they set up community seed banks to access quality seeds affordably, if you, for example, it's not just working alone, working in numbers, like I said, working in numbers tends to influence production. So when farmers set up community seed banks, they can be able to come together and be able to, maybe the seed banks are gotten from government or NGOs. They can be able to access this seed bank and make use of it in their own advantage. So farmers can set up seed banks and make use of them, and with that they can be able to access quality seeds affordably. Not that they have to start ordering at every point in time. No, they can when they have a seed bank, they can easily access quality seeds at every point in time. Also, like I said earlier, investing in low-cost irrigation techniques like bottle drip irrigation system can help to reduce input costs. Instead of farmers trying to set up huge or costly irrigation system, farmers can invest in low-cost irrigation. They can make use of what they have, like bottles, use bottles around to set up irrigation system. And with this, they are going to reduce cost drastically. And also, farmers in cooperative can apply for subsidies to NGOs or international organizations, and with this, it can help them to get farm input subsidies. For example, the seed varieties, improved seed varieties, drought-resistant varieties, or solar-powered irrigation system, and the like. So with this, farmers can scale up their production. Now, how can smallholder farmers find better market to sell their tomatoes at profitable prices? Like we said, one of the major issues that farmers experience in scaling up their production is lack of access to good markets and also middlemen exploitation. Because of this, farmers are unable to maximize the profit because most of the profit goes to the middlemen or the middlemen that comes to take their produce from them and take it to the urban areas. So now, what if farmers can access these markets themselves? They will be able to maximize yield and get enough profit to continue producing. So, how can smallholder farmers find access to better market? One is by forming cooperatives. By forming cooperatives to negotiate better. If you have a cooperative, if farmers are in cooperative, middlemen will have to go through their cooperative leader to have access to them, and therefore there will be cooperation among farmers, and it will reduce middlemen exploitation. Now, number 2 is using of digital platforms like social media or applications like Farm Crowdy or AgroMall to connect with buyers directly. When farmers make use of these digital platforms, it will help them to connect to farmers, to connect to buyers directly. Therefore, sidelining middlemen, and they will be able to get all the profit they they are they are they are due for. So when farmers connect with buyers directly, they will be able to get all the profit they are entitled to. And it won't be like middlemen that are not in the production cycle won't be the one to assess all these profits for them. They will be able to get all the profit they deserve. So also exploring processing options can help farmers scale up their production drastically. For example, instead of farmers have families with their wives and their children can help in this. Instead of farmers just selling the tomato raw, farmers can process these tomatoes, therefore increases their chances of storage and also l- preventing post-harvest losses. So when farmers process their tomatoes, for example, through sun drying or making into tomato paste, farmers can utilize their profit and maximize profit with this. Farmers' family can engage in this tomato processing, thereby assessing and maximizing profits. For example, making tomato into paste is very easy, and it is low cost, and it is something that farm families can engage in and improve their income rate and also help them to maximize all the profit they could get from their production. So if you would like to learn how to process tomato into paste at a low cost, you can drop it in the comment section or reach out to our producers, and we can teach our farm families on how to do that. So what or also watch more videos on how to do that. So you can stay tuned to learn that. So like I said, exploring tomato processing options can help our farmers to scale up their production. Also, with this system, farmers can also partner with supermarket, hotels, and urban market for direct supply. Rather than going through middlemen, farmers can access supermarket directly and supply to them. In this way, they are able to get the necessary profit they could get from their production. Instead of just selling to maybe their local communities, farmers that upscale their production can reach out to supermarket. We have a lot of supermarket, we have a lot of urban market, we have a lot of hotels that will be needing they'll be needing tomatoes at every point in time, in year out, for their production to continue. So farmers can improve their production and maximize profit by connecting directly with the supermarket, with these direct users, rather than going through middlemen. And also, farmers can store tomatoes in zero energy cool chambers to reduce spoilage. Therefore, they can maximize all the profit and reduces all the losses drastically. Now, how can small scale farmers transition into commercial tomato farming? First is by scaling up their production. And we've talked about ways farmers can scale up their production by improving productivity with better seed and irrigation. This can help farmers to transition from small scale into commercial farming, because when they start connecting directly to direct users, they and company users, this will require them to upscale their production, so they will be able to continue to supply to these users. And they can do this by improving their productivity with better seed and irrigation. Also, they can expand their land area and adopt mechanization. And the mechanization does not have to be something that it is not affordable for them. They can start with low cost mechanization. For example, solar powered pumps, solar powered pumps, or the pumps that they can use with their legs, and also bottle drip irrigation. These are mechanization that can help them to upscale their production gradually. And in this way, it will, on the long run, they will transition from small scale into commercial tomato farming. Also, they can get training in agribusiness and financial management. And farmers can really do this individually. When they are in cooperative, as a cooperative, they can reach out to agricultural business initiatives that can train them in agricultural business and help them to improve their production. Also, they can diversify their income by selling value-added tomato products. Rather than just selling tomatoes in its raw form, farmers can diversify with their families involved. Definitely, they can diversify by selling tomato products. For example, canned tomatoes, tomato paste, and the likes. And this will help them to scale up their production and transition from small scale into commercial farming. They can also seek partnership, like I said, with the cooperative. Tomato Farmers Cooperative can come together and seek partnership with NGOs, microfinance institution, who can offer them trainings, access to credit, subsidies, and the like. So we have international organizations like IFAD, FAO, and we also have, for example, in Nigeria, we have government schemes that are interested in these value-added services, and that can help farmers to scale up their production. We also have cooperative funding pools that can help farmers cooperative, that can help them to improve their production. Now, let's talk about government policies that are in place to support tomato farmers. What are the government policies? For example, in Nigeria, we have a policy to reduce pest imports and support local production. If this can be more invested in, farmers can therefore know that their produce are needed, their production are needed. Therefore, it will help them to put in more effort to their production, because they know that there is always market for them. Rather than importing, we should employ policies that reduces import of this produce that we can easily produce within our country. So government initiatives, government policymakers can see to this to reduce imports of tomato paste and encourage production of tomato paste within our country. This, therefore, we improve our farmers' production and productivity because they know that there is always market. And also there are low interest agricultural loans from the central bank of each country. So with these low interest agricultural loans from the government of each country, farmers with these loans can make use of these loans to improve their production and scale up their production from small scale to commercial farming. Now, also market stabilization policies to control price fluctuation. Because of price fluctuation, some farmers that sell at certain time tend to lose. So with price control policies, farmers can be sure that they are maximizing their profits and getting all they have to get from each production. So with these price control policies in place, what is being sold in this area is put into consideration in another area. Therefore, it can help the development and also to encourage farmers in every area, and also to improve their production. Now, let's look at what roles cooperative plays in helping farmers scale up their production. What roles do cooperative plays in helping tomato farmers scale up their production? Number one is bulk purchasing to reduce cost of input. Like I said, farmers coming together in cooperative has a lot of benefits, has a whole lot of benefit. For example, bulk purchasing of cost of input. For example, rather than one farmer ordering for improved seeds, they can easily come together and set up a seed bank as a cooperative, whereby at the start of a particular season or a production year, they come together as a cooperative and bulk order the improved seed varieties. Therefore, they can make use of the delivery options and get their delivery at the same time. Therefore, what one farmer will spend on production might be what 10 farmers will spend on production. So instead of one farmer bearing the cost of inputs purchasing, they can come together and share the responsibility and share the costs of buying the input costs. Therefore, they are able to maximize their input costs. Also, collective bargaining ensure better marketing prices. When farmers are in cooperative, it therefore reduces the exploitation of middlemen. It reduces the exploitation of middlemen because farmers in cooperative can collectively bargain, because what one farmer is saying is what another farmer is saying. Therefore, middlemen won't be able to exploit them, and also it will improve their strength. Because when we work in numbers, it improves our strength. It's scale up our strength. So when farmers work in cooperative, it ensures them to bargain well because they know how much they all spent. So they will be working towards getting and maximizing their profits. So when farmers work in cooperative, they reduce middlemen exploitation by bargaining collectively. Also, when farmers work in cooperative, they are able to access shared storage facilities, thereby reducing post-harvest losses. When they work in cooperative, they are able to come together, set up storage infrastructures, maybe due to their own personal contributions or the funds they get from government or initiative. They are able to set up cooperative storage facilities, thereby reducing post-harvest losses. Also, farmers in cooperative can easily access training programs. Like we said, they need agribusiness training program. So farmers in cooperative can easily access training programs to improve their farming efficiency. They can, through that, extension agents or extension officers can easily reach out to each and individual farmers rather than extension officers going from one farm to another. If they are in cooperative, extension officers or farm support organizations can easily have access to them and thereby improve their agricultural efficiency. And also it gives them strong financial support because they are able to have access to cooperative loans and savings. When farmers are in cooperative, it improves their access to cooperative loans and savings, and also they are able to get support from each and individual support organizations. So we've come to the end of our program, and I would like to quickly go through what we've said in this episode. We talked about how farmers can scale up their production, and we talked about practical strategies. One of the major issues farmers experience in scaling up their production is input costs, access to better market, middleman exploitation, and post-harvest losses. And we talked about practical solutions to scale up their production. And one of the practical solutions we talked about is farmers reducing their input costs, like setting up seed banks. Therefore, they are reducing their input costs, making use of organic fertilizers and compost, thereby reducing the cost of fertilizers, and also making use of low-cost greenhouses. Therefore, they can produce year in, year out. Also, you talked about tomato processing for farm families. Thereby, they are able to maximize their production and maximize profit, because when they process their tomatoes into tomato paste or sun-drying their tomatoes, therefore, this can improve their agricultural production and productivity. Another solution we talked about is farmers coming into cooperative. Farmers setting up cooperative will help them and improve their access to loans and savings and support and subsidies from government or international organizations, and also training programs. We've come to the end of our program. I hope you've been able to get one or two from this program. If you have any question or what would you like us to talk about, please feel free to contact the number on the screen or drop it in our comment section or on our page. Thank you so much for listening and stay safe.